If someone did to my daughter what Tristan did, I would probably castrate them.
We are breaking down the Kardashians Season 4, Episode 5 trailer. Hey everyone, it's Hannah Fletcher and welcome back to Shared News. We're going to break down the trailer for the upcoming episode of the Kardashians, which will be out next Wednesday night. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I recently saw this last episode. The only two parts of the episode that I thought were even remotely interesting were Scott's matchmaking process, which I found to be comical. And honestly, I was really looking forward to the conversation that Khloé and Kris were having at the very end of the episode. We were left on a cliffhanger, and I was very, very distraught. Of course, I'm going to tune in next week to be able to see what that conversation entails, but I feel like everything else was just filler content. I had no opinion in any type of way for everything else that was pretty much seen in the episode. So without further ado, hopefully we get a little bit more in this upcoming episode of the Kardashians, but let's take a look.
Hey guys. Hi. Happy birthday.
I am going to the Met with Karl Lagerfeld's cat. Is this cat gonna like me?
Okay, so initially we see that there is a birthday party taking place, which there's so many members of the Kardashians, so many kids. You know, I feel like they're always having a party almost every episode. I feel like we see some type of party. I was excited to see Kylie, so hopefully we get to see a little bit more of her as this episode continues to unfold. I feel like we haven't seen much of her, and when we do, it's just very drop in, drop out, not a lot of substance there. So hopefully we get a little bit more with Kylie. It also looks like we might be seeing for the first time Air, which I know we've heard a lot about Air, but I don't believe that we've ever seen him before. So that's really nice to be able to finally see what Kylie's second child looks like. He looks very cute just from the little piece that we can see here in the trailer. So hopefully we get to see a little bit more of Kylie and definitely a little bit more of Air in this episode. Now, next we have Kim with Karl's cat, Choupette, and I I can't. I think this is so funny. The fact that this cat is just so bitter and upset. And I don't know if he's like that with honestly everybody. He is not taking to Kim. You can tell that she is super anxious. So I don't know. It looks like Kim might be more of a dog person than a cat person. I know that she does have Pomeranians at home. Now, I feel like cats are very finicky in their own right. As a cat mom myself, you know, it's very much like you are not going and handling a cat unless it wants to be handled by you. So I feel like she's definitely taking her dog mom approach in this particular situation, which isn't necessarily working in Kim's favor, but it's going to definitely be a comical part of the show. And I'm excited to be able to see her. Just honestly, I like seeing Kim be comedic relief every once in a while. I feel like we haven't really seen that this season, so I'm here for it for this particular part of the episode. I'm really looking forward to this part. Let's move on to the next clip.
Do you have that much anxiety?
Yeah, I've been really bad lately. It's one of the reasons why I'm like actually scared to have children.
My phone! We need to find it!
It takes a village to raise kids, but at the end of the day, your kids only want you.
Okay, so first we see Scott and Kendall having a conversation about anxiety, which I feel like Kendall has such a busy life. And even with her mentioning the idea of children, you know, this makes a lot of sense for her. Everybody else in her family has kids, and she's really the only one that doesn't. And I think that with her and her job and the nature of what she does with traveling so much, I'm sure there's also this element of pressure. I'm sure Kris Jenner would love for Kendall to be able to have a baby or two by now. Everybody else, again, has kids. So I think that that's probably very anxiety inducing in and of itself, much less the career that she has with traveling and different sleeping schedules and time zones and shows. She's constantly on the go. So I can see why Kendall is saying that she's feeling very anxious. I'm eager to see this conversation kind of play out. We really haven't seen a lot of Kendall this season. And what we have seen isn't very serious. You know, it was more in the beginning of the season. It was fun, family fun. We saw a guacamole contest with her and her sisters. So to be able to see her opening up. And of course, I really like seeing Scott. I think that he is just a funny guy, and I'm glad that he's still managing to be a part of the show in any way possible. So I think that this is actually going to be a very informative conversation, give us a lot more in terms of what Kendall is actually feeling and going through. And I think that her and Scott have an okay enough relationship and that they're close enough to where if she will open up to anybody, I feel like she would open up to Scott and maybe Kylie to their fullest potential. Um, Next, we have Kim, and Kim is on her trip, it looks like still with her sons. She mentions about the kids basically needing to just want their parents at the end of the day, and that's really all that can be done. I know that she mentioned in the last episode that she hired a Manny in order to be able to kind of come in and hold things down and give that male presence for the kids in the kids' lives. So I'm kind of looking at this and wondering, she's on the phone, maybe in some way, shape, or form. Are the kids back home missing mom and wishing that she was there with them? Not really sure exactly what's going on, but that's kind of what I'm gathering from seeing this particular part of the trailer. Feeling like her speaking about the idea of kids just wanting their parents. I feel like that's kind of maybe what's going on. We know that she's been on this European trip and that she's doing a little bit of hopping around Europe in order to be able to take Saint, his friends, and the friends' parents to several soccer games. So maybe she's just been away for a little bit too long, and maybe we're finally seeing a little bit of, the tougher part of the parenting that I feel like we don't really see too much on the show, or even from Kim. I feel like we're always seeing them look very excited and happy. They're with one another. Even when she FaceTimes them, they look excited. But I think this is good to be able to kind of show the other side of parenting and to be able to hear her somewhat be able to speak well. So we'll have to see.
Oh, wait, what? How can you guys start without the mom?
Daddy of the year. Yes, best father award.
Is he driving you crazy?
Yeah.
Okay, so we see Khloé and obviously we see Tristan. He is here again. He is in another episode. So we see these two together. Obviously, we hear Khloé mentioning about starting without the mom. So it looks like she has a piñata. It looks like she basically wanted to probably document it, I'm sure. I mean, Khloé is iconic for posting so many behind the scenes videos, photos, and everything like that onto social media whenever she does have a party. So it looks like they got started without Khloé taking down the piñata and having a good time. So that part's very frustrating for Khloé, I can imagine. Obviously, we're seeing a little bit more into her and Tristan's dynamic, and he's trying to fix her necklace, it looks like. And somebody chimes in about him driving her crazy, which again, this just brings back the bigger problem, it seems like, of this season, where, I think Tristan is really trying to get back into Khloé's life in a way that Khloé really doesn't want. So it's got to be very frustrating. And it seems like this party is not going to be very relaxing for Khloé as the mom. It doesn't seem like she's going to be enjoying it. Also, we see Corey coming into frame, and he's talking to Tristan, father of the year. And I think that this is just really, honestly, quite bad for Khloé. She's definitely on the verge of a meltdown with her mom specifically. Obviously, we know that Corey is going to take Jenner's side because that's his lady. But at the end of the day, it's got to be a lot of pressure on Khloé. And it seems like it's really starting to show on camera that it is a lot of pressure because she's having so many people in her family now. I mean, we're looking at Chris and Corey, and we know that Kim is definitely in favor too. We have a lot of people that are really rooting for Khloé to potentially get back with Tristan. So not only is she trying to stay firm to her ground, but her family members are actively really taking Tristan's side at the end of the day. So that's got to be a lot. We're seeing that kind of start to pull on Khloé. I really just feel bad for Khloé overall because she is trying to stand her ground. And I wish that this were not happening for her. She does not need this at all. So let's go ahead and wrap it up with our last.
Someone did to my daughter what Tristan did, I would probably castrate them and smile doing it.
I like the smile at the end. So we see Khloé having a discussion with Malika, and obviously I'm thinking that this particular conversation is happening maybe the post Kris Jenner conversation specifically that we were left on a cliffhanger for. I'm wondering if she's not giving a recap to Malika and talking about how her family's basically pulling Team Tristan, and even the way that she mentions about if that same thing happened to her daughter, one can assume that she's inferring if something happened to True, or True was cheated on multiple times and had a guy that treated her like that. Obviously, Khloé would do unspeakable things, and rightfully so. She's in mama bear mode, and I totally understand where Khloé is coming from. And I think that that's honestly where she stands with Kris. And I think that she just wishes that Kris and company at this point would just get off of her back about Tristan. And I'm wondering, too, how much Malika actually knows. I'm wondering how much she has insight towards all of this. I mean, she has her own life and her own right, but I'm really curious to know Malika's standpoint and also to kind of find out where does she stand with everything. I mean, she's very close with Khloé. That's like Khloé's best friend. So I'm wondering, hopefully the others didn't kind of persuade her, and hopefully Malika can at least be Team Khloé at this point. So we'll have to tune in and we will have to see. But I like the trailer for this episode coming up. I think we have some fun things to look forward to. Just really, really hoping that we finally get that conversation and that we finally just get a little bit more of the drama that I feel like is somewhat trying to mount, but it hasn't overflowed yet. So I'm hoping, praying that this next episode has a lot going on in it for everybody's sake at this point. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure that you guys go ahead and give this video a like. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button, turn those notifications on so you don't miss out on any of our future uploads, especially when it comes to the Kardashians. As always, I'm your host, Hannah Fletcher. You guys can go ahead and give me a follow on social media. My social media handle is right there on the screen. Come on over and say hello. And thank you guys again. I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.